What's up guys, hope all is well, hope everyone's having an amazing day. Welcome back to the YouTube channel. In today's video, we're gonna be going over how to lose your first 20 pounds of body fat. And I know this strategy works, and it's a super solid strategy because this is the exact strategy that I used, or the exact framework I used to help me lose 66 pounds in 6 months. So we're gonna get straight into it. When we look at everything, right, there's 4 things that we wanna go over. Number 1 is gonna be the diet, how to set that up. Number 2 is gonna be the workouts. Then we got cardio, how we wanna set that up. And then also when you hit a plateau, because you will hit a plateau, everyone hits a plateau. So we're gonna go into in depth about all of these things. So when we start off with the diet, right? When we look at a diet for losing body fat and losing weight, the most important thing is a calorie deficit. So what is a calorie deficit? A calorie deficit is essentially when you're burning more calories than you're consuming on a day-to-day basis. For example, if I take 2,000 calories into my body, I eat 2,000 calories. If I'm burning 2,100 calories, I'm in a calorie deficit. If I eat 2,000 calories and I burn 1,900 calories, then I'm in a calorie surplus. So most importantly, we want to be in a calorie deficit. Once again, that's when we're burning more calories than we're consuming on a day-to-day basis. When we look at 1 pound of body fat, right, that's gonna be equal to a calorie deficit of 3,500 calories. So if you're in a calorie deficit of 3,500 calories, every single week or every single day, you'll lose 1 pound of body fat, right? Also, when we look at the protein, we wanna make sure that we have a high protein diet, right? Protein is extremely important. It's gonna help you maintain your muscle mass, number 1, in a cut. Number 2, it's gonna help you stay full, right? So your cravings are gonna be at an all-time low, and it's gonna be a lot easier for you to stay on track and stay on point with your eating habits. So we wanna make sure that we're having 1 gram of protein per 1 pound of body weight, right? And then when we look at the actual weight loss, at most, we wanna lose 1% of our body weight every single week, okay? So we're gonna go over a couple of different examples. So the first example over here is, how are we gonna get into a calorie deficit? How do we know what your calorie deficit is? So we wanna get your body weight in pounds. So for this example, we're using someone that's 200 pounds. You're gonna get your body weight in pounds, multiply that by 15, and that will give you a number. So 200 pounds multiplied by 15 gives you 3,000 calories. So this right over here is someone's calorie maintenance. Right over here, 3,000 calories. So now that we have your calorie maintenance at 3,000, we wanna make sure we're gonna get into a deficit. So what are we gonna do? We're gonna take your maintenance calories, 3,000 right over here, and we're gonna subtract that by 500. 3,000 subtracted by 500 is 2,500 calories. So that is what your calorie deficit is. So once again, body weight times 15, you get your maintenance calories subtracted by 500 is gonna give you your calorie deficit. Also, all of this is in pounds, not in kgs or anything. When we look at your protein, how are we gonna get your protein? Your protein, you're gonna get your body weight in pounds, multiply it by 1, you're gonna get 200 grams of protein. So a 200-pound person multiplied by 1 equals 200 grams of protein. Very simple. And then at most, like I said, we wanna lose 1% of our body weight every single week. So if you're someone that's 200 pounds times 1%, you wanna lose 2 pounds a week at most, right? That way it's healthy, sustainable, and then most importantly, you could keep it off for the rest of your life. So that's gonna be the diet aspect. Very, very simple. We wanna make sure we're eating good quality foods, eating whole foods, and you have a lot of variety in your diet as well, right? When we look at the workouts, right? The workouts, we wanna make sure that we keep them simple, right? We don't have to overcomplicate the workouts. We don't have to be doing backflips in the gym. Keep them very, very simple. So the goal of the workouts is to maintain muscle mass. When we're in a calorie deficit, you're not gonna build massive amounts of muscle. If you're new, you might build a little bit of muscle, but if you've already been training for a year or 2 years, you're not gonna build crazy amounts of muscle mass. So we wanna make sure that we're training hard in the gym, but more importantly, we keep it simple. That way we can maintain all the muscle mass we have and lose the body fat. How are we gonna structure the workouts, right? We're gonna have compound lifts plus some isolation movements, right? So compound lifts, what are those? When you're working more than 1 muscle group at a time. So we have our presses. So we could have a dumbbell chest press. We could have a dumbbell shoulder press. All these work your chest, shoulders, and triceps to a certain degree. Then we have your pulls, right? We could have a lat pull down or a barbell row. This works your traps, rhomboids, lats, and biceps, and a little bit of forearms as well. Then we have your squats, hitting your glutes, hamstrings, quads. We have a lunge variation. We have your hinges, so a hip hinge, right, or an RDL, and then we also want to hit some abs as well. So all these movements, we want to do them, right? And on top of that, we want to do some isolation movements. So isolation is only when you're training one muscle group. So it could be a cable curl only to hit your bicep, or it could be a tricep extension only to hit your tricep. So focus on the compound lifts, right? And then at the end of the workout, throw in some isolation. So if I was to make, let's say, a push workout, it could be a dumbbell shoulder press, dumbbell chest press, right? And then after that, probably do some like body weight dips. And then you could throw in a couple isolation movements like lateral raises, tricep extensions, and like skull crushers. And then when we look at how many times a week we want to train, you want to work out anywhere from 3 to 5 times per week, and then focus on progressive overload. A lot of people over here, they're going to tell you to work out 6 times a week. I actually don't think 6 times a week is beneficial, and I think a majority or 99% of the people can't recover from 6 times a week. I was training 6 times a week. I do this as a full-time job. I'm in my own gym. I literally eat, sleep, and train, and I wasn't recovering from my 6 times a week workouts. So when I switched it over to 5 times a week, I felt a lot better, and my gym performance skyrocketed. So training and working out, a lot of the times, less is more, right? And then we also want to make sure we're doing all of our workouts with progressive overload. So make sure you're gradually getting stronger over the weeks and months with all these movements. So that'll be the training. Very simple, very, very easy. When we look at the cardio over here, right? Cardio, we want to pick one type of cardio, right? This could be Stairmaster, treadmill, bike, and we want to just hit that consistently on a day-to-day basis, right? So if over here, you pick 5 times a week, right? You're gonna do the stairs 5 times a week. You wanna start off with 15 minutes per session, right? Keep it very simple, keep it very easy. So if you picked, let's say 3 times a week over here, 15 minutes, that's 45 minutes of total cardio throughout the week, right? And then also with the cardio, you wanna start off low and work your way up. So start off at 15 minutes. Don't think that 30 minutes is gonna be the best, or I'm gonna start off at an hour, because that's just gonna significantly increase your cravings and make it a lot harder for you to stay on track. Yes, you may lose an extra pound a week, but you'll probably fall off track, right? Patience is key. A lot of people, you know, it took them 20 years to put on 40 pounds, but they wanna lose that same 40 pounds in 4 months. Just have a little bit of patience. If you lose that 40 pounds in 6 months or 7 months, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, it's not gonna matter, right? The only thing that's gonna matter is number 1, you lost it, and number 2, you kept it off. So just have a little bit of patience, right? And then also, be more active in your day, right? So if you work a sedentary job, make sure you go for a walk, right? Once a day, anywhere from 10 to 15 minutes. That way you're getting in a little bit more activity, you're burning more calories, right, on a day-to-day basis. And this, paired up with the calorie deficit and the cardio, will make the results a little bit faster, right? So make sure you're being a little bit more active, and that'll be the cardio aspect. And then we have the plateau, by far the most important thing. So when you're working out, when you're training, you're losing body fat, you're losing weight, building muscle, you will always hit a plateau. It's inevitable. Everyone hits a plateau. What is a plateau? Essentially when you stop seeing results, okay? So with a plateau, when it comes to losing body fat or losing weight, you could, number 1, either increase the cardio, so increase the amount of activity you're doing throughout the day, or number 2, decrease the calories. So just eat less food or less energy throughout the day, right? And then also, you wanna make sure it's a true plateau and you're hitting 90% compliance for more than 2 to 3 weeks. What do I mean by true plateau? A lot of people, right? They'll eat this number right over here, their calorie deficit. They'll eat this for 2 days, and they'll say, oh my God, I'm not seeing results, I'm not seeing progress, I need to increase my cardio. But you haven't done this consistently for 2 to 3 weeks, so you're not in a true plateau. A true plateau is when you're eating this every single day, consistently, you're hitting all your cardio every single week consistently, you're getting all your workouts in every single week consistently. If you do that for 3 weeks, and this weight doesn't go down, that's when you have a true plateau, okay? And then this is kind of how it's gonna look when you do hit a plateau. So over here we have the weeks, week 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then over here we have your weight, right? If someone starts off at 200 pounds. And then here are the calories and cardio. So week number 1, we're at 198, right? We saw results. From this, we're gonna keep it the same. We're starting off with 2,500 calories, 45 minutes of cardio. So we're doing 3 15-minute sessions. So 3 times a week we're working out, 15-minute sessions per workout, 45 minutes of cardio. So week 1, we saw results. We went from 200 pounds to 198. Awesome. Week 2, we weighed in at 198 and you didn't lose any weight, right? So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna eat 2,300 calories. So we dropped the calories by 200 and then we kept the cardio the same. Because remember over here, we either wanna increase cardio or decrease calories. And you wanna decrease the calories in an increment of 200. So week 2, that's what we did. Week 3, we saw results. We went from 198 to 186. So we're gonna keep the calories the same. We're gonna keep the cardio the same. Week 4, we weighed in at 196 again, and we were 100% consistent. Now we're gonna drop the calories from 23 to 21, and then we're gonna keep the cardio the same, 45 minutes. We saw results the week after, week 5, 194. Week 6, we saw results. There's no need to change it. You could see calories and everything stay the same. And then week number 7, we weighed in at 192 again. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna decrease the calories over here to 1900 after 21 by 200, and your cardio is gonna be 60 minutes, okay? So you could see over the span of 7 weeks, right? We made small incremental jumps, but small incremental jumps often. So the cardio only went from 15 minutes per session, 45 minutes per week to 60 minutes, right? So an extra 5 minutes. And then also the calories went from 25 to 19 over the span of 7 weeks. So I didn't just jump from 2,500 calories all the way down to 19 in week 2, right? So you wanna make small incremental jumps often, but make sure it's number 1, a true plateau, right? That's by far the most important thing. And that's pretty much how you're gonna lose your first 20 pounds. If you do all these things and you take all these things into consideration and you do it consistently, week after week, month after month for an extended period of time, it is literally impossible for you to lose your first 20 pounds. So I hope this video brought you some value. If you have any questions, please comment it down below. But if you guys enjoyed the video, it was helpful, please like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you.